Hello, friends. Welcome. Sorry, I had to do that. Anyhow, I'm gonna take a piss while I talk here. You guys don't mind, I don't think, do you? Okay. So, anyway, yeah. So I just uploaded Natural Law Part 1. So I'm gonna kind of get away from the subject of the truth versus what's popular here. But everything ties into everything, so, whatever. Anyways, what I want to say is, okay, so Part 1, Natural Law, Part 1. And I'll leave a link to the video down below in the comments or description or whatever. So that, because it's a short video, a short. Anyway, so this is going to be Part 2 of Natural Law. So if you watch Part 1, it's a 17-second video of a young guy who comes across some strange wild animal and decides to just with his bare feet just start stepping on this wild animal, and it's a stingray. It's a stingray in the water. And so this young guy, barefooted, just starts stepping on the stingray. And he keeps stepping on it and stepping on it and stepping on it and stepping on it. And then the stingray, guess what happens? Well, the stingray stings the leg of the young guy who's stepping on the stingray. And when he gets stung, he jumps up in the air and screams like a little girl. And falls down on the ground and keeps screaming and moaning in pain. This is natural law. This is just natural law. And when I saw that video, I left a comment where I said, maybe this is what will happen to the ruling class who keeps stepping on the people. Well, and it's not really a maybe. I was being kind of facetious because, maybe natural law is real. Maybe natural law just is a reality that we must all accept. This is a reality that we must accept. If we're barefoot and we come across a stingray in a shallow pool of water and we start stepping on the stingray, natural law. I mean, this is just, this is not superstition. This is not conspiracy theory. This is just natural law. This is naturally what happens when a person who's barefoot that comes across a stingray in a small pool of water and starts stepping on the stingray. I mean, just like intentionally stepping on the stingray out of curiosity, for fun, as a joke, to get a thrill, and ends up getting stung by the stingray. That's natural law. Natural law is just something that exists that we must accept. And if we don't accept it, we're going to get stung. And so I posed the idea, well, maybe that's what's going to happen to the ruling class that keeps stepping on the people. And see, this is the thing. That's just natural law. This is what is going to happen. And you can go to, there are books that are over 2,000-year-old books that explain this. Like, if you fuck with people, if you happen to become wealthy and powerful and you abuse your power and are just stepping on people, you're going to get stung. It's going to come back on you. It's natural law. So people, so then you got these black pillars that are always it's doomed. We're all doomed. The evil ones, they're just stepping on us and trampling. It's all over. We're doomed. They can't can't accept natural law that this is what happens. You know, for example, the Bible in Sodom, the story of Sodom in the Bible is exactly the same thing. The wealthy, powerful people of Sodom, they had leisure, wealth, you know, everything was just kicked back, and so they just stepped on the people. All the people below them, they just treated them like shit and stepped on them and whatever, and just assumed that there was no consequence. And the consequence was that Sodom went up in fucking flames, and they all just like were reduced to ashes. And people can try to say, oh, well, the Bible is lies, and these are all just lies that are made up as a conspiracy theories. Well, no, not really. That's just an example of natural law. This is just what happens in nature. And so, you know, these people are like shitting their pants because the Bible illustrates a story that basically exemplifies natural law. What happens in nature? Natural law. Just what happens. This is the reality that we live in. And it's not just in the Bible, it's in all these different, like, archaic literature from hundreds and thousands of years ago has repeated this same lesson over and over and over and over, trying to reach people that don't understand natural law. Like, this is what happens when you step on someone. This is what happens, you know? And all these people that are like totally trying to reject natural law because it's illustrated in the Bible, therefore it must not be true. You know, it's just like, you know, this throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like this is true, and this is what is coming. The stingray is going to sting the foot of those, you know, that are trampling the people below them. It's going to happen. Not if for no other reason than natural law. Go back to the video. Watch the video of the young barefoot guy stepping on the fucking stingray. What is the end result of any time there is anything like that going on? What usually ends up happening? Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but the end result is always the same. Same with Sodom. It's the same with Exodus. You know, the Egyptians like enslaving the people and trampling over the people, and then it's the same story as Sodom. These stories, and it's not just in, I'm just using the Bible as an example. Like, this is like worldwide. And people can say, oh, well, it's all just a big conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. Well, look at that video. Is that AI? Is that AI we're seeing when we're watching a video of a young man stepping on a stingray, and as a result, the stingray fucking stings him, and he leaps into the air screaming like a little girl, falls to the ground, and continues to scream and moan in pain? This is natural law. That's what happened in Sodom, you know, according to the story. Whether it's a myth or a literal story, the truth is the same. I could make up a story, and I could say, one day I was walking and there was this shallow pool of water, and I saw a stingray in the water, and I was barefoot, and I started stepping on the stingray just to see what would happen, because, you know, I'm you know, that's just an animal. I'm a human being, so I'm just gonna step on it and see what. And then it stung me, and I flew up in the air, and I fell on the ground, and I was screaming in agony for hours. Like, I can make up that story, even though it never happened to me. Does that mean that there isn't profound truth within that story? Dude, that's a true story. That there is truth, just like there's truth in children's stories, like The Ugly Duckling. The ugly duckling. You know, like people are so dense, they just can't understand even the most simple of things. And I mentioned this in a video I posted yesterday. The reason that people can't seem to understand the most simple concepts is because they don't want to understand them. They intentionally, whether it's subconsciously or otherwise, they intentionally overcomplicate simple things. That way they have an excuse as to why they don't understand. Oh, I don't understand this because the reason I didn't understand is because it's such a complicated thing. When it's not, it's simple. It's very simple. And these stories like Sodom, the one I'm referencing, they're just simple stories. And it doesn't even matter whether it's an allegory or a literal event, because the truth within that illustration is the same, whether it's an allegory or a literal event that took place in history. It doesn't matter. Let's say, I mean, it's just like I could go over this and over this again. And really what it is there's just people that have ears to hear and understand what I'm saying. And then there's people that they don't listen. They don't understand. They don't have ears to hear. So they're not going to understand anything that I'm talking about in this video at all.